Hello and welcome back to another UCL Fantasy Team Selection video. This time we have our semi-finals first leg team, obviously heading into match day 15, and we are still sitting about the 21k rank. I think before, match day 14, I think last round, I was sitting about 25k, maybe towards the 30k range, and I opted to go for a couple of differentials, and obviously Saka, gambling on the Vinicius Junior captaincy. I went for Morgan Rogers as well when a lot of people would have took him out. Some of them worked, some of them didn't. Obviously I've got Pavard who is a bit of a differential as well. He picked up a nice goal. Saka, obviously 5 points. Him missing the penalty wasn't ideal. Vinicius Junior, had he picked up another goal or maybe a man of the match, he probably would have been a much better captaincy, and we'd be looking in a much better place right now. But it was a very average week. A lot of players didn't really do too well at all. I think Mikel Merino was the highest scoring player of the game week, or the match day, and he only got 10 points. Other than that, I think Declan Rice got 9, and then it was literally 8 pointers from like Hakimi and Mendes that were the highest scoring players of the entire match day. So overall it was a pretty low scoring match day. So with it being the last real week to gain rank on players, obviously no one really performed to that level that it was really needed. So I'm sitting at 21k now, and I'm probably not going to move too much from that, because I don't really think I'm going to be able to have a lot of different players from anyone else with so many people having the same team. But this is how it is looking for this week, and I don't really have like a lot of eliminations. So after match day 14 finished, I did feel as though I was in a position of being able to make whatever transfers I liked. I only had Vinicius Junior, Mbappe and Morgan Rogers to take out, so I would have been in a position of freedom to kind of make whatever transfers I wanted, bring whatever players I wanted as well. However, Lewandowski and Pavard have now got injured, so that's literally my 5 transfers right there. Vinicius, Mbappe, Rogers, Pavard and Lewandowski having to come out for me this week. So we're going to take a look at some of these stats and stuff, and look as to why I'm making some of the transfers that I'm going to be making. So these are going to be my transfers for this week. Again, the 5 players that I said were going to have to come out are going to be coming out. Now, if you watch the Matchday 15 guide that came out earlier today, you'll know that the forward line is looking pretty sparse. It doesn't look as though we're going to be able to, really differentiate a bit in the front line, because really the only fit, like actual 100% fit players that are listed as forwards are going to be Taremi from Inter, Lautaro Martinez and Desiree Doué, who isn't even guaranteed to start for PSG. The other one in there is Thuram, who is going to be in the squad for the Inter match, but he is still carrying an injury, and this is going to be his first game back, so it's still up in the air on whether he is going to start or not. So that is probably going to be the front 3 that everyone has. Whoever is likely to start between Taremi and Thuram, Lautaro Martinez and Doué is probably going to be your very popular front 3, because you literally can't get anyone else at this point. So for me, I'm going to be bringing in all 3 of the Inter attackers. It's going to be Martinez, Thuram and Taremi. Reasoning for that, at least I know I'm going to get 90 minutes. It is going to be between 2 players, but I don't really have any other moves that I can make. I'd rather have an extra player than make a transfer elsewhere on the park. So Martinez is going to be playing. He obviously is going to start, and then I think it'll be between Thuram and Taremi. One of them will start and one of them will come off the bench. So I might as well just go for whoever and go for both of them. They both play on the second day anyway, so it's really just one of them can stay on the bench if I have a really good first day, but if I've got some 1-pointers and stuff playing on Tuesday, then I'll just take them off and go for whoever's starting on the bench between Taremi and Thuram. My other option, of course, was Doué, who I was very tempted to get, but with the addition of Marquinhos to my team, who is absolutely going to be coming in, it means I'm going to have 6 PSG players, so I can't get Doué in, obviously due to the the maximum squad limits. Now Marquinhos I definitely want to get, because he's second for ball recoveries at the minute, only behind Pacho, who I've already got. So I don't really like too many of the other ball recovery players on the list, but I've already got the likes of Mendes and Hakimi, and that's 4 of your top 5 right there anyway. So I'm going to have the quadruple PSG defence. I can't see a clean sheet happening against Arsenal this week. they are still up there, with clean sheet odds, which isn't too bad. So hopefully we can maybe see a miracle. But I'm really just looking for attacking returns from Mendes and Hakimi, and ball recoveries from Pacho and Marquinhos. The clean sheet would just be a massive added bonus if it can happen, but I really don't think it does. And then I've got Ferran Torres coming in as well for my Lewandowski replacement. Now I'm very tempted to stick the captaincy on him because I don't think he is going to be too much owned. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that and see who people are going to be bringing in, but obviously there's a lot of good midfielders at this moment in time in UCL fantasy, and I think there's a good chance that he is going to be a big differential starting up front for Barca. Against Inter isn't great, they are very solid defensively, so I can't see Barca scoring a ton of goals. Their goal odds is the highest for this week, but it isn't, an absolutely huge number. But I'm still tempted to go for him. Everyone's probably going to be captaining Rafinha for that day, but I'm probably going to go for Ferran Torres, and it would probably be my last big hurrah at, a nice rank gain, and hopefully Ferran Torres can be the one to do that for me. So this is how the team is going to be looking for this week, and I don't think there is going to be any changes before the end of or before the deadline, at least, because I'm definitely getting Marquinhos in, so there's no way that Dewey makes it into the front three. And again, whoever, probably Taremi, if Thuram and Martinez are going to be fit, whoever is going to be benched going forward, and the remaining match days of this season is just going to come back out for Lewandowski. Now, as you can see, very much PSG orientated in this team. We've got the 6 PSG players. I've only got 3 from Barca, I've got 3 from Inter, and I've got 3 from Arsenal as well. So kind of spread out a little bit. Again, when it comes to the final, the bench doesn't matter anyway, so I don't really mind. If PSG were to go and get eliminated and add 9 players to come out, it's not the end of the world, because I can still have 4 eliminated players on the bench for the final, with that being a one-off day. But very happy with this team. Again, most of my players are playing on Tuesday. I'm only going to have 6 players playing on Wednesday, which is totally fine, and then when we go into the second leg, I can make a couple of tweaks to the team there to get a couple more players playing on Tuesday. But the PSG players are all, consistent points. Marquinhos and Pacho for ball recoveries, the same with Mendes and Hakimi. So if they don't keep that clean sheet, there should still be some points there. Vitinha, a really good player for man of the match, obviously takes the penalties as well for PSG. Dembele is basically the main man in there as well. Saka on the other end, obviously the main man for Arsenal, takes the penalties, so he should do quite well. I did really want Trossard in here, but there was no midfielder I was willing to take out to get him in. But Trossard, if I could have a 6th midfielder, would definitely be the guy to go for, because again, it's going to be another big differential. He's going to be starting up front for Arsenal, kind of the same way that Ferran Torres is for Barcelona, is what Trossard really acts as for Arsenal. And then of course we've got Rafinha in there as well, who is just an absolute mainstay in the team. And then, as I said, with the front 3, we've got Martinez, Thuram and Taremi. One of them's going to play 90 minutes, the other 2 are going to, Martinez is probably going to play 90 minutes, and then between Thuram and Taremi, they're probably going to split the 90 minutes between the both of them. And if I don't have to bring one of them in, then I'll just keep them on the bench. Whichever one ends up on the bench for the Inter match, I'll just keep on my bench if I've had a good, Tuesday and have fair points. I think if I've got 3 points, I'll probably just make the transfer anyway, because at this point I need to try and gamble a little bit more. If I was trying to play a bit more safe, I probably wouldn't, take off for 3 points. But 4 points and stuff, I'll probably just keep whoever is on the starting 11 at that point. And then between Taremi and Thuram, they'll probably stay on my bench. But yeah, a little bit of a boring one. I don't really think there is too much to talk about, with there only being 2 matches for this entire match day. So that's basically going to be it. I think for my captaincies, I'm going to go for Saka. It's on Dembele now, but I'm going to go for Saka playing as the home team. I think, again, Saka could be a bit of a differential. I don't think too many people had him against Real Madrid, and I don't think he's going to be a popular transfer for this week. He could well be, but I don't think it is going to be the case. But Saka is going to be my captaincy for Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, I'm going to be very tempted by Ferran Torres. If Saka doesn't do well, obviously Rafinha is going to be that big one in there, and he is the obvious choice. But I think for me, it's going to be Saka and Ferran Torres as my two captaincies for this week. So let me know down in the comments what you're going to be doing with your front line mainly. I'm interested to know what strikers you are going to be going for, and make sure to drop in the comments who your captaincy picks are going to be for this week. So make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy, subscribe if you are new, and good luck for match day 15, and I'll see you all in the next one.